Pacific Rim was a movie that came out in 2013. It was about giant robots versus giant monsters. I've done a review on it. The premise itself just sounds like your simple mech anime, which it ironically turned into, but Pacific Rim had a lot more going on under the surface of it. This movie is just another mech movie, but unlike the others, it had heart. Guillermo del Toro, the director of this movie, did everything he could to really do more than just deliver a fun mech movie. You see how intricate this world is and how everything here is here for a reason. The way the mechs work and mechanically run has been felt like it has been meticulously thought out, along with the ideas of the mechs going all the way back to how the characters act. Mechs aren't easy to pilot. You need a neural handshake. If it's weak, you're not going to succeed, as we see here in the movies, as we see the two characters nearly blow everything up. So every fight here, we see these two pilots growing together, leading to a finale that is more than a mech fight, but a symbolism of these characters finally being able to completely work together and finish the job. This movie was not a masterpiece, but the amount of details and the fun factor really made it feel special. We'd see Guillermo del Toro going to make bigger and better things such as The Shape of Water, which grabbed the best picture, but what did Pacific Rim fans get? Well, they got a sequel in Pacific Rim Uprising that came out 5 years later, a movie that would be bigger and better while being a shell of what made the first one so great. Pacific Rim Uprising is following Finn, or Jake Pentecost. I'm not calling him that. It's following him in his life after the close of the breach in the first movie, and instantly the problem that arises here is there really is no reason for this movie to exist. First movie was all about these characters making sacrifices to save the world, and here we instantly undermine it when we see these monsters are back in the trailer. Also, we have to make up excuses to bring these monsters back, which leads to this film kind of just not really knowing what to do in the first two acts and just stumbling around looking for anything to possibly progress this plot forward. First, Pacific Rim had clear objectives to achieve, and we felt that we were constantly moving toward a final goal. Here, Finn just goes wherever he needs to go and just ends up in random problem that leads into the third act with them finally setting up a villain, but feeling that they were way too late of the party when it came to actually figuring out where they wanted this narrative to go. This movie had so much dead space. It feels like the first 2/3 there was just no real direction. It just goes, oh, here we go, he's a scrapper. Oh, okay, now he's part of the Jaeger program. Now, oh wait, he was already a part of that. Never mind that. Oh wait, when did that happen? Never mind, he's piloting the Jaeger now. No problem. And then he just keeps piloting these Jaegers until a real bad guy appears, and then let's roll the credits and the battle ends. Let's get out of here. There's no conflict, since no conflict is ever set up. Everything is just so easy. The reason that endings like Back to the Future are so great is because they've earned it. Marty has put in the work. He has been all over the place. He's put the pieces into place, so when he gets back and everything is perfect, it feels earned. Pacific Rim Uprising has just characters do nothing and then they get perfectly rewarded like they've done something in this movie. That's not fun or engaging because there's nothing to watch. No goals, nothing to achieve, no tension, which leads to something you never want to happen in a movie. You get bored. There's nothing happening to get excited about, so you just sit there as random problems get introduced and then instantly resolved. The action here is cooler and better, but what is the point? The action in the first one might not be as cool, but you cared about the characters and wanted them to succeed. Here, everyone just knows perfectly how to pilot a Jaeger, and these characters we just don't care about, and that also kills attention. Now, I'm gonna spoil a scene, so you've been warned, but maybe the most depressing thing about this movie is that there is actually a great scene in here. Finn is desperately trying to save his sister Mako Mori, and not being able to do it is just done extremely well. The sick joke here is that we don't want her to go either because she is one of the two good characters, so in some weird way we are right in his shoes. So this fight has so much emotion, yet every fight afterward feels empty as we have no stake in who wins the fight. It's so embarrassing that a movie here gets one scene so right, yet nearly every other action scene so wrong. And the great things about this movie are not even from this movie, it's the returning characters. Mako Mori is good, also get Charlie Day and Burn Gorman back, and Burn Gorman is still great. But not only does this movie absolutely destroy everything that was built up before about Charlie Day's character, but all of the new characters here as well are boring and not interesting at all. Look at this new character in Clint Eastwood's kid. He's all, I'm mean, but I like you, Finn, but I don't like you. I'll cut you a break because remember back in Vietnam? Oh, yeah, you learn nothing about this guy. Literally nothing. Also, you have all these other terrible kid cadets that are just the worst. I mean, I don't want to be super mean, but the acting here is just so bad. Finn is fine acting-wise. This character I still know nothing about. He's kind of a bad scoundrel that turns good, kind of like Han Solo. He's also a teacher that becomes in charge, and he has to be a leader. It's just, he's got way too many things going on. These characters also have no goals. They just do things because they can, not because of any arc or any goal they're trying to achieve. Leading to this movie again is having characters that makes the movie feel even more empty than it already is. Anyone can make a mech monster movie, but it really comes down to below the surface. There is good mech action. It looks great, but what is the point? I don't care who wins, unlike the first one. All the interesting and small ideas under the surface in the first one are gone and replaced with shallow characters with a terrible plot and really lazy script writing. Everything that made the first one special was thrown out, and all they kept was the mech fights, even though when you look back on the first Pacific Rim, it was so much more than just the fights. I think this movie shouldn't exist in the first place. I think that the most ideas here are just bad, and I wish they had never done a sequel. With that, I'm gonna say that Pacific Rim Uprising is bad. That said though, what are your thoughts? Did you like this movie more than I did, or did you not like it? Just like me. Let me know. Anyways, next time I'll be giving you my first impressions on the Bad Batch new TV series, and when that video comes out, I'll see you then. Bye.